Have you ever noticed how some things in your home have just stuck around for years? They're not really useful anymore, but somehow you just can't seem to let them go. You glance at them and think, it can stay, and before you know it, they've taken over your space little by little. Old, worn out furniture, stacks of random papers, boxes filled with sentimental stuff you haven't opened in ages. Here's the truth: before you turn 70, it's time to let some of this stuff go. Not just to free up space, but to create a home that actually feels lighter, calmer, and more like you. A place where you can move easily, breathe deeply, and live comfortably. In this video, we're talking about 6 types of household clutter that might be dragging you down more than you realize. Maybe it's stuff you've held onto out of habit, maybe it's the just-in-case pile, or maybe it's the low-key clutter that's quietly adding stress to your everyday life. But here's what you need to know: so letting go of these things isn't just about decluttering your closets, it's about clearing space in your life and in your mind. And the best part, you won't feel like you're losing anything. You'll feel like you're finally letting yourself breathe. So let's take this journey together. Let's begin. 1. Worn out furniture you never use. One of the biggest sources of clutter in any home. Old, worn out furniture that's way past its prime but still taking up space. Over the years, it just sneaks in. Extra chairs, random cabinets tucked against the wall, coffee tables no one uses anymore. Maybe they were useful once, maybe they hold some sentimental value, but if they're not doing anything for you now, it's time to stop and ask, why am I still keeping this? Here's the thing: furniture that's no longer comfortable or functional isn't just taking up space, it's draining you, physically and mentally. Picture that giant armchair in the corner no one sat in for years, or the oversized dining table that once hosted big family dinners. Now it just collects dust. The dresser with the jammed drawers that annoys you every time you try to open them. These pieces aren't helping anymore. They're just getting in the way, and as you get older, too much furniture can make even moving around your home more difficult. More stuff means more chances to trip, bump into things, or feel overwhelmed by the clutter. And it doesn't just crowd your home, it starts to crowd your mind too. Let's take Frank for example. He's 74 and has lived in the same house for decades. Over the years, his place slowly filled up with furniture, some inherited, some gifted, some bought long ago. The house used to feel warm and cozy, but over time something changed. Walking around became harder, cleaning took longer, and some rooms felt more like storage units than living spaces. Then one day, his daughter came to visit. She casually pointed out there were 5 chairs in the living room, but only 2 ever got used. That small comment hit Frank like a wake-up call, so he made a bold choice. He started with one room. And one by one, he let go of anything he didn't actually use. That wobbly, legged chair, gone. The giant coffee table that blocked the walkway, out the door. Any piece of furniture that was just there, gone. And with each item he removed, something surprising happened. He felt lighter. The space opened up, the house felt calmer, and most importantly, life inside it felt easier. That's the point. Furniture should serve you, not weigh you down. If it makes your home more functional and brings you joy, great. But if it's just sitting there, taking up space, quietly draining your energy, it might be time to say goodbye. A true home isn't about how much stuff you can pack into it. It's about being surrounded by things you actually use and love. Less stuff often means more value in what's left. So ask yourself, when was the last time I really used this piece? If you have to think hard to remember, maybe it's time to let it go, because a home where you can move freely, clean easily, and feel truly at peace is worth far more than a chair, a table, or a cabinet that's just gathering dust. 2. Clothes you never wear. Let's be honest, we all hold on to stuff over the years, and clothes, they're one of the biggest culprits. Maybe there's a suit in your closet that hasn't fit in years, but you just can't bring yourself to let it go, or that dress you bought for a special occasion and never wore again. Stacks of old t-shirts folded up in drawers, untouched for who knows how long. No matter the reason, it might be time to pause and ask yourself, do I really need all this? Before you hit 70, it's worth giving your wardrobe a serious once-over. Because here's the thing, a closet full of clothes you never wear isn't just taking up space, it's weighing you down. Clothes carry memories. That jacket you wore to an important event, those jeans you used to love but haven't worn in forever, that pair of shoes at the back of the closet you've probably forgotten they even exist, but they're still there, silently taking up space. For many people, letting go of clothes feels like letting go of the past, but here's a better way to think about it. Your closet should reflect who you are now, not who you used to be. Take Linda, for example. She's 72. Her closet was packed full, but she only wore the same handful of items over and over. There were dresses from the 80s jackets she hadn't touched in decades, and beautiful shoes that looked great but hurt her feet every time she wore them. Every morning she'd stand in front of her closet frustrated. So many options, and yet nothing felt right because most of it didn't really fit her life anymore. Finally, she'd had enough. She pulled everything out and sorted it into 3 piles: clothes she loved and actually wore, pieces that no longer fit or didn't feel good anymore, things she was keeping just in case. That last pile, it was the hardest to let go of, full of sentimental attachments and what-ifs. But as she started to let go, she realized something powerful. She wasn't losing anything. She was gaining space, clarity, and peace of mind. That's the magic of decluttering your clothes. It's not just about tossing stuff, it's about simplifying your life. Getting dressed becomes easier. Finding what you actually like becomes quicker. And your closet turns from a cluttered mess into something that works for you, not against you. And here's the beautiful part, because like those you're not wearing, someone else could be using them. Donating them means you lighten your load and help someone else at the same time. So if your closet is overflowing, ask yourself this: do I really need this? If it doesn't fit, doesn't feel right, or hasn't been worn in years, let it go. At this stage in life, your wardrobe should support you, not stress you out. It's not about having more, it's about keeping what truly works for you. And hey, if you're still watching and this is resonating with you, drop a comment below with Item 2, let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's move on to the next item. 3. Expired medications and old toiletries. Let's talk about one of the sneakiest types of clutter, the kind you barely notice but that quietly takes over your bathroom cabinets. Expired medications and old personal care products. Chances are you've got a few in there right now. Maybe an old bottle of painkillers from years ago, a half-used antibiotic cream, or that face moisturizer you tried once and never touched again. These things pile up without us even realizing it. Drawers, shelves, and medicine cabinets slowly fill with stuff we don't use, and in some cases, stuff that's no longer safe. There's a reason expiration dates exist. Over time, medications lose their effectiveness, and some can even become harmful. We often think better keep it, just in case. But the truth is, if you ever actually need that medication again, the best thing to do is see your doctor and get a fresh, up-to-date prescription that fits your current health needs. Still, many of us keep those old pill bottles just because, not realizing they've become nothing more than space-eating risks and personal care products. Same deal. That lotion you haven't touched in years, the sunscreen that's who knows how old, that half-full bottle of perfume with a faded label. Most people don't realize these things also expire. Using old skincare or cosmetic products can irritate your skin or even cause infections, but what do we usually do? We shrug, say I might use it later, and shove it right back in the drawer. Let's be real. Abby, if you haven't used something in months or years, odds are you're never going to. It's just sitting there, taking up space just in case. Take Robert, for example. He's 75 and takes pride in keeping his home neat and organized. But one day, while looking for a bandage, he opened his medicine cabinet and froze. There were boxes and bottles he hadn't touched in years, expired pain relievers, old tubes of cream, prescriptions he didn't even remember why he had. So he did something most people avoid. He sat down and went through everything, one by one. And what did he discover? He had been holding on to way more than he realized, all under the excuse of maybe I'll need it. Once he tossed the outdated stuff and kept only what was safe and useful, he felt a surprising sense of relief. Now everything in that cabinet serves a real purpose. No more guessing. No more digging. And that's the part people forget. Decluttering your medicine cabinet isn't just about tidiness, it's about safety. You should only keep things that actually help you, that protect you, and make your life easier. Everything else, just clutter. So here's the takeaway, Shu. When you toss expired meds, you make room for the ones you actually rely on. When you ditch old toiletries, your daily routine gets easier and safer. If you haven't checked your medicine cabinet or bathroom drawers in a while, now's the time. Expired, toss it properly. Old prescriptions, dispose of them safely. Haven't used it in over a year, let it go. Then step back and enjoy the calm of a clean, simple, and useful space. That's the real win. 4 old papers, documents, and unopened mail. You know, one of the biggest clutter culprits that sneaks up on you at home. Paper, stacks of it, on tables, in drawers, shoved into boxes with a just-in-case mindset. Over time, it adds up quietly, almost invisibly. Old bills, expired warranties, instruction manuals for devices you don't even own anymore. Before you know it, you're surrounded by a sea of paperwork you haven't touched in years. That's why, before you turn 70, it's time to take control. Because this isn't just about cleaning up physical space, it's about clearing mental space too. Paper clutter creates background stress. Ever tried to find an important document only to dig through a decade's worth of useless papers? Or had a pile of unopened mail sitting on your kitchen counter, constantly reminding you that maybe you're forgetting something important? Here's the truth. Most of the paperwork we keep is totally unnecessary, and letting it go brings a surprising amount of relief. Take Barbara, for example. She's 73, super organized, except for one thing. She's a bit of a paper hoarder. She had a huge filing cabinet packed with everything from old utility bills to random receipts, even tax documents from the 1980s. One day, while searching for her insurance policy, she realized something almost all of it was completely outdated. So she made a bold move. She went through every folder, every envelope, piece by piece. She kept only what really mattered and shredded or recycled the rest. And the result? The first time in years, she knew exactly where everything important was. Her cabinet and her mind finally felt clear. That's the point. Decluttering paper isn't just about tidying up a drawer, it's about lifting a weight off your brain. When you constantly see stacked folders, unopened letters, and paper crammed into shelves, your mind feels just as cluttered. Even if you don't realize it, it's exhausting. The good news, most important documents can now be stored digitally. You don't need to keep physical copies of everything, so where do you start? Here's how to tackle it. Look at your papers with a critical eye. Haven't touched it in years. You probably never will. Old bank statements, shred them. Expired contracts or product manuals, recycle. Only keep what's truly important. Legal, medical, or financial, and organize it in a way that's easy to access when needed. Now let's talk about your mail. Junk mail. Toss it right away. Bills. Pay them, and only file the ones you truly need. Magazines or newsletters you never read. Cancel the subscription. Bottom line, keep what helps you. Let go of what doesn't. You'll free up space and lift a weight off your shoulders, physically and mentally. And hey, if you're still watching and this part hit home, drop a comment with item 4 below too. Let us know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button, and don't forget to turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Your support helps us keep making helpful, meaningful content like this. Let's keep going. 5. Kitchen items you never use. Ask anyone where the most clutter builds up in their home, and most people will say the same thing without hesitation: the kitchen. And honestly, they're not wrong. Kitchens have a sneaky way of collecting stuff over the years. Gadgets, dishes, tools, most of which haven't been used in forever but still somehow stick around. You've got mismatched plastic containers stacked in the cabinets, drawers packed with utensils you forgot you even owned, dusty pots and pans hiding in the back of the shelves, mixers that haven't been plugged in since who knows when. Before you turn 70, it's time to clean house. Because a cluttered kitchen doesn't help you, it slows you down. It doesn't make life easier, it makes it more frustrating. A lot of people hold on to kitchen stuff out of habit. Maybe I'll need it someday. I use that when guests come, I got it for holidays. Fancy dishes saved for special occasions that never happen. Many waffle makers or cookie presses used, once then forgotten. 3 or 4 of the same tool. Drawers full of spatulas, lids with no containers, random mugs and glassware that don't match anything. Here's the truth, a kitchen full of stuff you don't use just gets in your way. Take George for example. He's 76 and has lived in the same house for decades. His kitchen used to be his favorite space, but over time it started to feel clogged. Cabinets overflowing with dishes, appliances he hadn't touched in years, drawers stuffed with tools he didn't even remember buying. Every time he needed something, he had to dig through the chaos to find it, until one day, while looking for a tray, he knocked over a pile of baking pans and finally snapped. That's it, he said. He decided it was time to clear it all out, one item at a time. He asked himself a nimble question with each thing he picked up. Do I actually use this? If the answer was no, it went in the goodbye pile. Duplicate tools, gone. Expired spices and forgotten pantry items. Tossed that bread maker he used once and never again donated. When he finished, the space felt completely transformed. His kitchen was now simpler, more functional, and most importantly, usable. That's the key. Decluttering your kitchen is really about decluttering your life. Cooking becomes easier, cleaning takes less time, and you're not constantly frustrated by the mess. You don't need a kitchen packed to the brim to cook a good meal. You just need the essentials, the stuff you actually use. So take a look around, open the cabinets, check the drawers, and ask yourself, Tambo, when was the last time I used this? If you can't remember, or it's just been collecting dust, or you've been keeping it just in case. It's probably time to let it go, because a clean, simple kitchen isn't just easier to manage. It makes everyday life feel calmer, more enjoyable, and a whole lot less stressful. 6. Sentimental items that no longer serve you. Now we've come to the toughest one of all: sentimental items. Old letters, gifts from loved ones, souvenirs from past trips, boxes full of memories. These things carry emotional weight, and that's exactly what makes them so hard to let go of. But here's where you need to be really honest with yourself. Before you turn 70, take a quiet moment and ask, do these items still bring me joy, or are they just weighing me down? A lot of people feel guilty about letting go of sentimental stuff: a gift from someone who's passed away, birthday cards from decades ago, childhood drawings from your kids, or tiny toys left behind by the grandkids. Yes, they're meaningful, but here's the truth: memories don't live in objects, they live in you. And after a certain point, holding on to too many sentimental things isn't about honoring the past. It starts to keep you from living fully in the present. Take Helen, for example. She's 78 and had dozens of boxes filled with things from different chapters of her life. Each item had a story. But when she downsized to a smaller home, she realized she'd been paying to store boxes she hadn't opened in years. At first, the idea of letting any of it go felt impossible. What if I forget? What if getting rid of this feels like erasing part of my life? But then she had a shift in mindset. She realized she didn't need to keep everything to keep what mattered, so she got selective. Her wedding album absolutely staying, a few heartfelt letters from loved ones kept, a small souvenir that still made her smile, of course. The rest, she let it go. She donated items still in good shape, took photos of things she wanted to remember, but didn't need to physically keep, and something unexpected happened. She felt lighter, freer, like the past wasn't dragging her down anymore. It was simply part of her in a peaceful way. That's the part most people don't realize. Letting go of sentimental things doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means making space to truly enjoy the present. It's not about discarding memories, it's about keeping the ones that truly matter and releasing what no longer does. It's about choosing to surround yourself with things that make you feel happy, not things that quietly pull you down. So if you've got boxes of "maybe I'll need this someday" memories tucked away, pause and ask yourself, do I really need this object to remember that moment? And if the answer is no, and honestly it usually is, let it go. Because at this stage in life, what matters most isn't the stuff collecting dust. It's the peace and joy that come from a home that feels calm, open, and meaningful. And just remember, letting go doesn't take anything away from you. It gives something back: clarity, freedom, and room to truly breathe. Still here, still feeling this? Drop a comment below with item 6 and let us know you're with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Hit that bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for being here. Your support helps us keep creating the kind of content that helps others live lighter, freer, and better. Final thoughts. And here we are at the end of the video. Now we're asking just one small but meaningful thing from you. Take a moment to really think about these 6 items, because simplifying your space before turning 70 isn't just about getting rid of stuff. It's about reclaiming your space and creating a home that feels peaceful, manageable, and truly yours. Remember, letting go of something isn't a loss. It's a step towards something better. Not subtraction, liberation. So what stood out to you the most? Which of these things are still hanging around in your home? Maybe you've already dragged a few old pieces of furniture out to the curb. Or maybe this video made you realize how much those tucked away papers, dusty pots, and boxes of childhood memories have quietly weighed you down. Or maybe you're seeing this whole decluttering thing in a new way. It's not just about cleaning your home, it's about clearing your mind. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us, what did you take away from this video, and how are you going to apply it in your life? Your comments really do mean a lot to us. They inspire us, and they push us to keep creating content that matters. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications, and share it with someone who could use a little decluttering inspiration too. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, and may your home always be filled with peace.